Now Nick, this is an exciting project. We have Doug and Keith from the Housing Trust here. This is an exciting time. The section, can you tell us a bit about how you've acquired it?
We bought it from Housing New Zealand. We spent quite a while discussing the price with them, and we managed to get them down in price to 125,000 from 155,000, which helps a lot. It means we can actually produce some affordable housing because the land is actually relatively cheap.
Now tell me, how many units will you be able to put on this property?
We're putting three. We'll be putting two bedroom houses as a duplex and one standalone 3-bedroom house.
Now there's a creek on this property.
Mm-hmm.
What's going to happen with that?
It'll be landscaped. It'll be left open, but it'll be landscaped.
Yeah.
And the rest of the entrance will be as it is now through there, and parking down one side with a couple of car parks also next to the creek.
Brilliant. Now Nick, this is a great look, isn't it, for affordable housing for Nelson?
Well, it's an extraordinary story if you look at the Nelson Tasman Housing Trust. 5 years ago they had 6 houses. With this development it'll add them up to 39 homes.
Correct.
That is part of the broader government strategy of growing the community housing sector. It's actually part of quite a big revolution. I'm going to have legislation through Parliament by Christmas that enables community housing organisations like the Nelson Tasman Housing Trust to be treated on the same basis as Housing Corp. We've sort of had this historic approach for 70 years that the only approach to solving housing social demand is in terms of the state. This site that's been sold by Housing New Zealand shows that with the government partnering, in this case providing $376,000, we're able to house 3 more families in a well-designed subdivision, one that will have warm, dry, affordable homes. And given the number of families that we have in Nelson that are under real housing pressure, there's no magic solution, but step by step, house by house, city by city, we are getting on top of the housing challenge. The agreement with the Nelson Tasman Housing Trust is that these houses will be dedicated for dealing with people in lower incomes. There's a real demand in Nelson for those people that don't meet the points criteria for a state house but still really struggle to get affordable homes. Now the combination of the government grant and the pretty smart way that these guys squeeze the lemon and getting good value means that these homes are going to be built for about $250,000 each, and that means that people are going to be able to get access to accommodation. A pretty nice community here. This whole community has really come away over the last 10 years, but at rents that are affordable while still being close to the city and to both the jobs, the education and the health services that are critical for their families.
Right. How has the funding happened, Keith? Where's it come from?
Well, as Nick says, we're getting a grant from the government for half the cost of the project, and we borrow from the bank basically the other half, so we get a mortgage to cover half the cost, and our rents go towards paying off that mortgage and also towards our costs as well, to managing and maintaining the houses.
One of the reasons I'm so supportive of the Housing Trust is that for each new house that Housing New Zealand finds, I've got to find $400,000. With these ones, I'm effectively coming up with 125. And so I keep Mr. English happy, and then I'm not spending too much of his money, but I get 4 times as many houses. And that's got to be good for the taxpayer and good for communities like Nelson.
Congratulations.
Thank you.
When will the build start?
We're hoping before Christmas. It's most likely to be end of January.
Right, and people will be able to come into these homes when?
It takes about 40 weeks to build, so if we can work that out, what's that, about 9 months? Spring.
Yep.
Yep.
We'll be turning the key.
It's a very straightforward project, should be good.